primary responsibility of every government is the protection of life and property of the citizens of that country. A government that fails to protect its citizens loses its mandate of leadership. Welcome to your program. This is your program, Security Watch Africa. My name is Patrick Abambo. Only on this channel, the Africa Independent Television, you get your information you need to keep your life secured. On this program, we'll go every length to bring you that information you require to be safe, because without life, no meaningful development can take place. So before you talk of mansions and fulfillment of your dreams, you must talk about how to secure yourself and be alive. And that is why security is very, very paramount. I will say welcome again to the program today. Yes, today it's a mixture of a lot of issues that affect you and I. And so stay tuned as we'll take you around most of the activities that took place in the last 1 week. First, last week we discussed on the reported demotion by the Police Service Commission of 2 officers who have had a lot of response concerning that, and so many try to rationalize why she must be, but majority and some learned people had come to say the Police Service Commission do not have the right to outrightly demote officers. Whichever school you belong, the essence, like we did last Saturday, was to try to plead with the 2 agencies of government, that is talking about the Police Service Commission and the Nigerian Police, to let peace reign. But Security Watch Africa make bold to tell you that one of those officers talking about the Commissioner of Police, Lagos State, CP Edgar Imohimi, is working so seriously to make sure that Lagos State remain that paramount, that premier state that Nigerians look up to with joy. I must confirm that to you that since he became the Commissioner of Police of that state, the state is receiving proper attention in an area of security. We must say kudos to the acting Commissioner of Police in charge of Lagos State for what he's doing. We hope to one of these days go to Lagos State and bring you reports of what is happening in Lagos State. We want to also charge him to do better and do not get distracted by the noise about whether it's proper for him to be made a Commissioner of Police or not. The essence is do your work, because Nigerians want to live peacefully and secured. On that note, I also want to bring to the attention of the authorities, particularly the Nigerian Police Force. There are some of your officers, graduate who are rank and file, who did the ASCON examination for conversion as to become officers. Question: this is almost 2 years since that examination was done. As questions have been asked, what is happening? They want to know their fate. Something must be done quickly so that these officers will be able to have their senses complete, because anybody who is anticipating for something good and is being denied, then I'm sure that it will affect his morale to work. Please, the Inspector General of Police and all those who are responsible for the looking at this ASCON examination that was done should please quickly look into it and communicate so that the people will know what is the situation. Yeah, still talking about police again. During the week, the Inspector General of Police had a conference with all his officers from the rank of commissioners of police and above. And one of the things that took place at that function was the presentation of insurance, the insurance scheme, the payment, the premium to some of the police officers' nest of kings, those police officers who died while in active service. There was presentation of the checks to their nest of kings, their wives or their son or their daughter or relative. That is done because it's important that the welfare of officers are taken paramount so they can work better and protect Nigerians. So sit back as we bring you that presentation of the check that took place in Abuja.
checks to the next of kins of 1,285 families of deceased police officers and men who died in active service between 2004 and 2010. This category of officers and men fall within the period when the group life insurance scheme started in 2004 and when the payment commenced in 2012. These 1,285 next of kins are the final batch of these categories. It is worth to mention that in 2017 budget, the federal government appropriated a sum of 5 billion for the settlement of 2013, 2015, and 2016 arrears for death benefits of deceased officers and men of the force. The process of assessing these funds has since commenced. The death benefit of 2014 has already been settled. This year, a total of 3,750 million naira was released for payments, and a total of 1,285 next of kins of deceased police personnel have been screened for payments. This payment ranges from 6,870,484 naira to 1,546,549 naira 20 kobo. I wish to thank our President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, His Excellency President Muhammadu Buhari, GCFR, for his prompt response to the welfare of needs of police officers and men of the Nigerian Police Force.
Welcome back. That was a presentation of the checks. I'm sure that those families will have a kind of a better life from that presentation, because the checks that were presented were from about 1.6 million to about 4-point-something million naira, which I'm sure will be able to set up some families in one business or the other. We must say kudos to the government for doing that, and also kudos to the government for remembering those former Biafran police officers that died. I'm sure that most of them are no longer alive today. Some of them are still alive, that the government have remembered to try to pay their pension, and which is quite commendable. And I hope that will bring some kind of peace in the southeast for Nigerians to be happy and move ahead. Yes. Also at that meeting, the Inspector General of Police spoke to his commissioners of police and the assistant inspector generals of police on a number of issues, security in the country, and particularly talked about the issue of kidnapping. Sit back as we bring you what the Inspector General of Police spoke concerning the issue of kidnapping and other crimes.
Ensure that all commands, all CP commands, must address is the issue of illegal deployment of our police special unit, the special protection units, and the police mobile force. The DIGP, you are going to send out instruction to all commands. Yes. We are going to give between now and the end of the month. I want you to conduct physical checks on all deployment of mobile and all special units in all your commands. When you conduct that check, the issue of having a squadron commander or whatever doesn't arise, and that's why I'm giving you directive. It is the responsibility of state commands, and because I've been saying it, deployment and checking of all operations of police in the command rests squarely on the commissioners of police. These are constitutional issues. These are statutory issues. It doesn't fall on the squadron commander. So I want all commands to check the deployment of the PMF and ensure that all those people that are deployed with mobile force or whatever special units, which is not in consonance with our police regulations, must stop immediately. Whether it is the mobile, whether it is SPU, whatever the special unit, I think that thing has to stop. So in your report, you are going to look at, most of these VIPs that are provided with special units. You have to count them, their numbers, and then write a report to us. And those you feel as a commissioner of police, they don't deserve to be deployed to these special units, you have to send it directly from your office to the squadron commander to withdraw them and then copy us at the force headquarters. We are going to have an absolute control on the usage of our policemen that we attach to VIPs all over the country. I believe this is not an issue that we can just on our own handle at the headquarters. It has to be the responsibility of commissioners of police in each location. And if we later have a problem, the commissioners of police will obviously be adequately vicariously liable, because you are the head of the police unit in your command. And I think I've been repeating this for so many times. If you look at the police regulation, the police act, deployment of police mobile force police institutions falls within the responsibility of the commissioners of police in that command. It doesn't fall at the headquarters. So don't just sit in your office because you say, these are mobile. Mobile is a force headquarters unit, I understand. But the responsibility to monitor and ensure they conform with police regulations and police acts rests with the commissioners of police of each command. And I think we have to take that responsibility. And I think that's one major decision. The DIG will send signal to all the CPs of all commands to take responsibility of those deployments. That's very, very important. And it doesn't even limit the deployments of these units. You can also look at supervision where they are deployed. I think it's very important. All of us know in the Police Act, deployment of PMF, deployment of every special unit must fall in conformity with the Police Act and police regulation. Anywhere as a commissioner of police, you observe that mobile policemen are deployed illegally. I think it's your responsibility to ensure to halt that responsibility immediately. Because in the past, 2 or 3 months back, I'm sure you are aware, where some policemen serving in the southwest are deployed to Akwa Ibom, Aziso, and Rivers. We're not God. We can't sit in Abuja and know what is happening in those places. It's very important. The commissioners of police must take responsibility and ensure all these officers' deployment conform with our regulations and acts. And I think that's very important. So I'm just informing we're going to send the senior letters by today to all command CPs to ensure that deployment of these special units conform to our regulations. Very, very important. I want to also thank officers, like I said earlier, on the commitment of all the officers, all the police, because I've been looking at, if you're looking at the channels, television channels and what have you, you can see that there are some improvements in the rate of reporting of our activities. And that's why I've been saying it. All our achievements, you go on the air to inform the world, this is where you have achieved, this is the arrest you have made, and if you've introduced any initiative in the policing strategy, you let the world know. Especially in areas you want to have the support of the communities. It's very important you have to come to inform the whole world that this is what you are doing and this is what you've achieved. Our achievements, if you keep quiet, nobody's going to, nobody will beat the drum for you. So whatever achievements you have to ensure that you beat the drum loud and clear. That this is what you've achieved, this is the number of arrests made, and other issues. I think that's very, very important. From all locations, from all commands, all officers should take the issue of supervision of our subordinates very, very serious. It's not a woman's, it's not a woman's job. Try to highlight your DPOs, your, unit formations, ACOs, ACCID, all of them must ensure that they have absolute control of the men that serve under them. Very, very important. And another issue is that, the turnout of our men, the traffic, traffic policemen, whether they're traffic warden, whether they're police officers involved in traffic control, we must take care of their turnout. Very, very important. Their turnout should be in white. Wearing all these white, armband, white cap, those white this. Because if you go to anywhere in the world, when you come into a country, most of the things you admire are the turnout of their policemen at the road, on the road, controlling traffic. This traffic control is very, very important. And it adds a lot to the clarification of that country. The turnout of the policemen should be very, very professional, should be very, very properly turned out. And I think these are the responsibility of the commissioners of police, AIGs in each of the different and various commands we have in the country. And I want our officers always to take these things very, very seriously. Very, very seriously. Especially most of these major commands, like the FCT, Lagos, Kano, Port Harcourt, most of these major cities. Very, very important. You have to permit on your DPOs to enable them to supervise the deployment of these traffic men in these areas. Number 2 is the issue of visibility policing all over the commands. Visibility policing. Where you have the flashpoints, we ensure that you deploy policemen to those flashpoints to take care of security. Deployment of policemen to those flashpoints, presence of police, sends a lot of signal, especially in this ability to reduce crime all over the country. Very, very important. Another issue is that the protection of our officers. Because where is the CP Niger? We have a problem, I think some weeks, just last week, I think. 2 days ago, where one of your DPO was kidnapped. How can you be a DPO in the place? You have all the policemen under your command. Then you start driving as if you don't have anybody. You allow these useless kidnappers to just pick you on your own. It's very embarrassing. We had the same issue in, Zamfara State, where an AC going on leave, travel alone, it's embarrassing. Utilize the men, want to protect yourself first. Because security, you should protect your, your own self before you protect these people, other people. Because obviously you are going to be a target. This shows that all this information we are receiving, our DPO's vehicle or AC's vehicle was abandoned in a bush, but the OC is never seen, he has been kidnapped. How can you be, where should you live in those kind of situations? It's becoming an embarrassment. So you should direct all your officers, DPOs, head of formations in your commands, in their movements. One, they should be very, very careful of their movements. You don't just move as a policeman anywhere. That obviously the Nigerian Police Force is very glad that the National Assembly has came to our support. Because, those one of the areas I've been advocating for us to reduce kidnapping in this country. And I think we are happy that a law has been passed now. That I think it's a death sentence to those arrested and are going to be tried under this kidnapping law. I believe by the time we start arraigning people for murder charges, a death sentence, we are going to have a reduction of this madness of kidnapping. It will reduce the spate of kidnapping in Nigeria, definitely.
Welcome back. That was Inspector General of Police Ibrahim Idris discussing our, let's say, giving a marching order to his officers to try to protect themselves, because if you don't protect yourself, how can you protect others? First of all, a police officer must be security conscious, must make every effort to protect himself so that he will be alive to protect others. Where a policeman is being kidnapped, the confidence that the police can be able to protect the populace, it's taking off. And so police officers must be vigilant, must be alert, and make every effort to make sure that they are protected. Welcome. We're having a lot of people sending us their views and their comments on what we have shown so far. For those, you can interact with us through our Facebook fan page or our Twitter account so that we can read your view on the air for others to know what you are thinking concerning the topics we have discussed so far, concerning what you have heard the IGP talked about. He also talked about the kidnapping is becoming very, very embarrassing. And if something drastic is not done, then we're afraid Nigeria might become a state of anarchy. And that leads us to the next clip we're going to show you. Security Watch Africa team went on the street to find out from people, because recently the National Assembly passed a law prescribing death penalty for any kidnapper, anybody who is found guilty of kidnapping. And we decide to find out from Nigerians if they support that law, and how, if they think that law can also help to reduce the issue of kidnapping. Sit back as we'll take you to the streets to hear what they have to say.
Well, kidnapping, it has really affected our society in such a way that our people don't stay safe again where they stay, and people have found it an easy way of making money. So for the Senate to pass such a bill, I believe it's a welcome development. So people who are into that business should stop doing it. It's a welcome development. Well, to an extent, but for those who are into kidnapping, definitely it will scare them. But that does not mean that other crime will stop. If they can also borrow a leap from this law they passed now, extend it to other aspects of the criminal activity that have been going on into our society, I believe the thing will reduce crime in our society.
Personally, it's a welcome development, and to some extent, it will reduce the level of such crime. But my own concern is it should have been holistic. It's not only that. They should look at other crimes also, look at it holistically. Because if you look at, there are some crimes that also lead to this kidnapping. So considering the issue of other thefts, considering the issue of creating more empowerment even in the country. So there are so many things we need to look at it holistically to address this crime. So if you just single out this as a crime for death sentence, what about other crimes? We are talking of people who have taken over billions of dollars, nairas. So what are we saying concerning that? So we should not just singular that. You can see how people were so much anxious to pass the bill because it affects the rich men, so to say. So we need to look at this holistically, look at the other aspect of it. I support, but let's look at other areas of concern.
I think it will, because others will learn from the punishment given to the culprits. They will learn from it, because some of them, when they catch them and they release them, and because of the rate of corruption in Nigeria, some of them, they have long legs. Even when they arrest them, they scarcely come out. But when they kill them and the government punish them, I think that will reduce, others will learn from their mistakes.
Yes, in as much as it's a very serious crime. A serious punishment should go alongside with it. But one thing I realize in Nigeria is that the law favors the rich. What of the people who loot Nigeria treasury? What is their own punishment? People who loot Nigeria treasury dry, are they not even worse than kidnappers? Or is it because the kidnappers are focusing at the rich? That is why they have passed a law that stringent law against them, and people who are looting Nigerian treasury, nothing is done to them. Is that fair? Fine, in as much as it's good. The same law should be passed to people who are looting the treasury dry of this country.
Of course, all these corrupt leaders, that they should extend it to National Assembly. All those senators, they should send it to them.
Back, yeah, you know, different views there. Some people are totally in support of that. Some also add saying that other crimes must also be incorporated, must also have the death penalty. You know, that brings me to an idea or a question I would ask: corrupt suspect or corrupt personnel of government or even individuals and kidnapping, which one is a higher crime, and which one should attract death penalty? Maybe we'll have to get some lawyers to look into that aspect, because like some of the respondents they talked about the issue about that corrupt officials must also be punished, must also face death penalty. Yes, during just 2 days ago, there was an ambush on the officers of the Nigerian Army. Well, we can tell you authoritatively that they were able to repel this. That's talking about in the northeast, Dikwa Ngala Road in the northern part of Borno State. Some of the Operation Lafia Dole personnel were attacked by Boko Haram insurgents, but we're happy that they were repelled, and items were recovered from them. Some of the recovered items, one AK-47 rifle with several rounds of ammunition were recovered from them. It's a good thing. And I think you can see on screen the AK-47 that was recovered from them. We must flush out these Boko Haram insurgents that are terrorizing Nigerians, so that we can all live in peace. That was the army vehicle that they attacked. But thank God no soldier was killed or an officer killed. On that note, we'll come to the end of today's program. If you have enjoyed watching this program, let's do it again next week. Next week, we'll bring you more exciting edition of this program, more information that you need to keep your life safe and secure. But like we always say, please watch